Here's the deal, guys. I have been sucking at filming and quite frankly, I'm just gonna do this in one take. I'm gonna give you a quick update, get it uploaded. That way everybody knows what's going on. This last year has been nuts. We added another baby. We flipped 3 houses. My business is growing. It's just been out of control. And so I am working like a dog to try to get it all done. And this truck has been hanging over my head. You guys know you've been on the ride for 3 years, just about. And it's kicking my hiney. I mean, it's just tedious. Anybody that's done this knows that it is. So I'm gonna give you guys a quick update on everything that's happened. I'm not going to go back through the footage that I've taken up to this point, but I just wanted to upload something so that my family members and my friends that are watching and following along can see that something's happening. I put this goal on myself to have the truck done within the next month, which I actually think is possible, believe it or not. We are getting close. So let me flip you around. Let me show you what we've got going on. Here we go. Like I said, I don't really remember exactly where we left off in the last video, but this is where we're at, okay? We've got the motor in, we've got the trans in. I'm about halfway through the fuel system. If you remember, we did Holly Sniper. I'm sure I've reminded everybody 10 times at this point. We've got our inlet line and our outlet, our Holly fuel regulator. And then this runs under. I haven't got that completely plumbed in yet. I'll show you what's going on with that here in a moment. New brake cylinder, master cylinder. I mean, you guys know the engine was totally rebuilt. I can't remember if I went over this either, but totally rebuilt. Ekman's out of Rexburg rebuilt the engine, top to bottom. The heads are done. We've got a cam. It's a flat tappet cam. It's a pretty mild cam, but they dynoed it and it was 403 horsepower and like 415 pound-feet of torque. So nothing crazy by today's standards, but I think it's going to be plenty for what this truck is. Obviously, Holly Sniper, we've got, we're starting on the wiring here. This is called a PDM, Power Distribution Module. We did a Hall Effect distributor, so we've got timing control out of this. Long tube headers. This one runs down. I had my good friend Jordan Avery here. He welded in an O2 sensor bung for me on the fly. What happened is they come with a bung that you put on with like a strap. You drill the hole and it's got a seal. I got it in there and then realized that the clamp that they gave me was too big or too small. And so I called up Jordan. He TIG welded this. He held a mirror up and TIG welded it. So he laid under the truck with a mirror upward and he TIG welded that thing with a mirror in that small of an area. It was crazy to watch. Anyway, I couldn't appreciate him enough. I paid him with 50 Rockstar energy drinks. Interior's done. I was just touch up painting these little guys. Getting that'll get all tucked up in there. Seat's done. Looks really, really nice. Behind the seat, got a little subwoofer. Haven't mounted anything yet, but it sounds really, really good, believe it or not. New seat belts. New door panels. This is all new. I mean, you know how it goes. You get so deep into it that everything starts becoming new because you can't just put something crappy and old in. Anyway, those visors are new. They match. They used to be white. The headliner, new light. I still have not decided on wheels and tires yet, believe it or not. Here's the fuel tank. This is the new fuel tank that my dad installed in this like 3 or 4 years ago. Here is I had this closed off so nothing would fall in there, but this is where the return line goes in. It's actually kind of like a riv nut style return. So you drill a hole in there, put that on there, you crank it down, it clamps the mounting or the it looks like a riv nut. It literally just clamps it in there. I'm an overkill kind of guy, so then of course I JB welded around it just to make sure. But I've got a new fuel sending unit. So the original one was this one, had a 3/8 line, or excuse me, was that a 1/4 inch line? I can't remember. And then we went to 3/8. So I think I probably could have got away with this older, smaller one, but I just did not want to have any fuel restriction, and this thing was not that expensive. I think it was like $50 or something. And it'll fit right in place of the other one. There's a mess here, but this is our fuel pump setup. So the flow comes in, 40 to 100 micron filter, goes into our fuel pump, goes down to a 10 micron filter, and then runs through. While I've been here, painted and restored the power steering pump. So that's gonna look a lot better in there. That mounts right on this side, and then that coil deal goes in here. I'll probably put that in close to last. That way I get the radiator in and it mounts next to the radiator. Going under here, you can see where we've got fuel lines running this way. I haven't mounted anything there yet. I will once we get it all strung in there. I'm gonna lift the fuel tank up in there, and then we're supposed to have the fuel pump mounted as close to the bottom of the tank as possible. And so I've got some aluminum that I'll bend and build a little bit of a bracket. That way that pump can sit lower in relation to the tank. But I'll get that tank up in there first. That way I know exactly where to put the pump. Anyway, here's a quick update on everything that we've done. Like I said, I'm super sorry that I haven't kept you guys going on updates up to this point. But it's just been a really crazy time. You know, unforeseen growth and busyness and kids and all that crap. And at this point, I'm just pushing hard to get this sucker done so I can enjoy it this summer. And my girls are just dying to ride in it. This thing has been going for so long. I was going to show you guys one of the other projects that took some of my time this year. As a lot of you guys know, I like to build stuff. And so I'll show you what I've been doing. So if we come out here behind the shop, I built a gigantic playhouse. You know, I got a giant chicken coop from a client of mine. They couldn't have it at their new, some fancy neighborhood that they were moving into. And so I took the chicken coop and decided I want to put it on top of a mezzanine. And so of course at that point it just flourished. It's got this wraparound porch, which is super fun, and I just love this. The girls, they just love this in here. So it's like just a playhouse, just a fun playhouse. It's got a heater, that way they can roll, they can play in it all winter long. Camera, of course, keep an eye on things. Exhaust fan to pull the hot air out in the summertime. So super, super duper fun. But that's been one of those things I've been working on that's been taking my time too. And of course, the family's a priority, right? So that's what we've been doing. And we're gonna keep on cranking on this truck and get her finished up. Thank you for watching, guys. Super appreciate it. Sorry I don't have more of an update for you. More time lapses and whatnot, but I know that, you know, when this thing's done, it's gonna be awesome. And so just stick with me. We're very, very close.